Buddy. All right, there it is. What's up, Jesse? How you doing, brother?
Pumped to be with you, my man.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. For anybody who's out there watching, we're Dugout Mugs. We turn baseball bats into drinking mugs. We have a lot of fun doing that. And I had a cool opportunity to come by Savannah the other day and visit the Bananas. Okay, and I had a tremendous time. And that's why I reached out and I wanted to hopefully bring you onto introduce you to our tribe and let them understand a little bit more about who you are, what you do. Because honestly, brother, I think what you're doing up in Savannah is tremendous. And I think it shows, you know it. You see it in your fans. You see it in the sellout crowds that you guys do. So welcome.
Thanks, man. Well, I appreciate you. I know we got a bunch of those Dugout mugs that we've given to our tribe of season ticket members. And I know people love them over here. And I think the way we got introduced is you sent me a mug with the bananas on it. And I've been fortunate to be sent a lot of things in my day. But it was
right
very, very cool. And the thing that I think so many businesses don't do, they send stuff with their own logos on it to people. Like, here's some t-shirts with my logo. No, you sent it with my logo, which meant a lot, and it's actually up in my office right now. So I appreciate you.
Well, what do you say all the time? Stop standing still, start standing out. We got to stand out.
You better believe it. I mean, that's everything, and it's especially now. What are you the only one doing? Everyone's just talking about, we're going to try to be a little bit cheaper, a little bit faster, a little bit better. Be the only one, and I appreciate you guys and what you're doing.
Well, thank you. So the first thing I wanted to ask you, and this is totally off the wall. So your son, his name's Maverick.
My son, yes.
So I have an 8-month-old, and when it's a little girl, I couldn't go with Maverick, but that's the name that I had picked out for a little boy, because I feel like that's how I go after business. When I saw that that's your son's name, is that why you went with that?
Oh, yeah. Well, we knew with anything. I mean, we wanted to have a different, unique name. We wanted him to be special. We love what Maverick means. Maverick, independent thinker, a free spirit, an original, a creative. We love what it stands for. And yes, also very helpful that my wife's favorite movie ever was Top Gun. And so, I wanted to name him Maverick Ice Cold. Ice Cold was the middle name. I'm like, that's it. She didn't let me go that route, but we were happy, and he's fitting the mold. He's a definitely creative guy. He was on the field yesterday. He's 2 years old, saying "Play ball, go Nanas," and having a lot of fun. So it's probably one of the best joys of my life right now is hanging out with my 2-year-old.
That's awesome, dude. So let's talk about what you're doing up there, like, because you totally do things differently, right? Let me bump a couple of these questions. So to start off, just how long have you been in the baseball business? Because I know you do a lot of different things. We're actually going to touch on some of those because I want people to understand some of the other aspects of you. Sure. But as baseball as a business, how long have you been involved in baseball as a business?
I would say I was probably in the baseball business for one day back in September 7th, 2007. And then I realized that wasn't a business where we could be successful. So then I went into the entertainment business. That happened on September 8th, 2007. So, going on 13 years in the entertainment industry, we just happened to have a baseball team. And as you may know, obviously, I started with a low-level team in Gastonia, North Carolina. I played baseball my whole life. I love baseball. Playing baseball is great. Watching baseball is a little different for many people. And I made a comment the other day. I said, with Major League Baseball having all these cardboard cutouts, the game's still too long, too slow, and too boring for them, that the cardboard cutouts are leaving the games early. So they're leaving in the 6th and 7th inning like regular fans. But and not take away, baseball is a great game. It was great. It was a lot of fun. But as we've seen in attendance, the huge decline in Major League Baseball. It's still too long, too slow, too boring for many people. And so after my first day in Gastonia with only $268 in the team's bank account with 3 full-time employees and only 200 fans coming to the games, I realized that we had to dramatically change who we are and what we stand for if we wanted to stand out and actually attract fans. And that's when we made the complete shift to no longer be a baseball team, to be a circus with a baseball game breaking out.
So speaking of circus, obviously the showman, the greatest showman, I've heard you a couple of times on LinkedIn and other places. So, by the way, if anybody's not following you on LinkedIn, I encourage you to do that. I've actually told some of my team to do that recently, and they've really been enjoying it. But I see you talk about P.T. Barnum.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that influence a little bit, because I think that's really important, because I agree with you 100%. The disconnect. Randall and I, my business partner, just had a podcast yesterday about that exact thing, why there's a disconnect between baseball and the fans. And I think you've totally bridged that gap. So tell me a little bit about the influence of PT.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I started, I was 23 years old, a GM of a team, couldn't pay myself, no money, and didn't have a real mentor. And so the only thing I thought is let's read from the people that have done great things. And obviously I was attracted to the circus, and I didn't even realize that P.T. Barnum only did the circus in the last part of his life. It was the museum that he built, people coming to his museum, creating attractions. And so I read every book I could on P.T. Barnum, and I was absolutely blown away by his ability to create attention, by his ability to always think new as a way of life. Every year, what's my new act? What's my new thing that I'm promoting? You know, how to get people excited and be the consummate showman. And so I read everything about P.T. Barnum, and then I read everything about Walt Disney, and I read everything about Bill Veeck. And those are my three biggest mentors. I have custom posters back over my office, and the P.T. Barnum says, something terrible happens without promotion. Nothing. And that is P.T. Barnum through and through. And so I learned from him. I go, what are we doing that's so big, so dramatic, so different that gets people talking? And, you know, a big theme for me is I always ask, what are you doing to be unforgettable? You know, everyone says right now, especially, you know, how do we stay relevant? That's the wrong question. How do you become unforgettable? And think about P.T. Barnum. You know, 100+ years ago, he died, and he's maybe as unforgettable now as he was back then. There's a movie that took over. It's going on Broadway. I mean, it's unbelievable. Same thing with Walt Disney. People are saying Walt Disney's name every single day. They were unforgettable because they had a different lens. They weren't thinking, what is everyone else doing? They're thinking, what can we be the only one to create a special experience that no one else is having? And that's what we try to bring into the baseball industry, and to really look at it with that lens.
Yeah. Did you see the movie, Hugh Jackman?
Yeah, 100%. Come on,
Dude,
that was their opening night. Let's be serious.
Bro, that was a sick movie, wasn't it? I think they crushed it with that.
Yeah, it was great. And I had a lot of people ask me, Jesse, what were your thoughts? I know you talk about PT, you read about PT, and, you know, was all that true? They were like, was all that true? I was like, of course not. But that's exactly how P.T. Barnum would have done it. He doesn't let the truth get away from a great show. And he wasn't trying to, you know, scam people. He was trying to put on the best experience possible. And some of the storylines weren't all accurate, but the music and the show and the choreography was exactly how he would have done it. And he'd walk out of that saying, I'm proud because I put on a show for the people watching. And so I loved it.
Well, and it ties into something else. I mean, I believe you're genuine. We are as well. Like the same guy you're seeing here is the same guy you meet at a ballpark and everything. So I know you back up what you say. And one of the ways, just as very much like what you're talking about with fans first, right? Like that's your thing, right? And just like you're talking about PT, you know, he goes above and beyond to put on the show for the fans and make the fans first. Mm-hmm. I think that's what's made you, you know, with certainty, that's what's made you guys successful. And I think that's what made us successful as a company as well. I mean, we do some cool, fun stuff, but I think we go above and beyond. We're extremely passionate about customer service, really, really passionate about our product and the life, you know, the lifestyle brand that we've become. And can you give any advice on how a company could be more fans first? Like, I know you speak on this, right? You're a keynote.
Yeah. I mean, everything you need to be clear and you need to be intentional. And this is something we learned the hard way. I mean, when we first went on our own way and I became an owner of a team, you know, the name of our company was Team Cole and Associates. That's like a law firm or like a terrible accounting firm. Like it was gross. And I didn't have any associates. It was just me. I just made up the associates. And I was like, all right, well, we got to really figure out, you know, it starts with the name. And what is the name of our company? What are we trying to do? And our mission is fans first, entertain always. So the name of our company should be Fans First Entertainment. And then every decision we make, we ask the one question, is it fans first? So I think you got to be really intentional on who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going. And so for us, it'd be very clear. And all of our decisions are guided by that. I think a lot of people will get together, you know, businesses and leadership and senior leadership and discuss, all right, how can we bring in more revenue next year? That's the wrong question. How can we create more fans next year? When you ask the right question, it guides all of your decisions. So for instance, you know, right before this pandemic hit, people thought we were crazy in the industry because we announced that we were creating the first ever ad-free stadium. We eliminated every single billboard, every single program ad, every single ad. As you've been to the games, there's no ads anywhere. Yep. And people are like, why would you do that? You know, we threw away hundreds of thousands of dollars because I don't believe that anyone comes to a ballpark and wants to be advertised to. They want to be sold. They want to be marketed to. They want to have an experience that's for them and not to feel like, oh, this promotion is for this car dealership so they can sell more cars, and use your people, your fans, as a product. No, our product is our circus-like experience. So we make decisions like that all the time. And I think the best way to do that is whatever industry you're in, is think, what are those frustration points? What are those friction points that I don't like about the industry? And how do you change the rules? And that's when we started. Baseball, too long, too slow, too boring. You get nickel and dime. So as you know, every ticket's all inclusive. Includes all your food, all your soda, everything. You get, I hate when an $18 shirt online is $24.50 because you got to pay for shipping. We eliminated all shipping fees. We threw away thousands of dollars, but you better believe we made more fans, which then makes up for in the long run. Throw away short-term profits to focus on long-term.
And in the tough times, these are the people that carry you. I mean, our sales for Dugout 3x in the pandemic. Why?
Yeah.
Because
people are drinking more.
Well, that's part of it. But I think what it is, I mean, there were times I remember Randall, he got in his car and drove a mug across the state of Florida to get to somebody for a wedding, right? We've always done it from the right place the whole time. And they carried us, right? Like we reached out, hey, listen, MLB, because I mean, we were sold in 5 countries, every stadium, minor league, major league, like it's crazy. And when baseball didn't start, something happened. We're like, hey guys, we have 5,000 extra units. Please buy them. And it's gone in like 3 weeks.
So question, do you have core beliefs for your company?
What's that?
Do you have core beliefs for your company?
Oh, absolutely.
And what are some that stand out for you?
Well, passionate about customer service. I think that's super important. I mean, I could tell you at the beginning of every year, we do a kickoff, like an annual kickoff. Let me see if I can find that. I mean, I keep it on my thing here. Where was it? Wait a second. I have too many.
I don't need you searching. I was
curious. But, so we believe in all things baseball, right? We believe in competition. We believe in a team. Yep. Let me tell you, there's plenty of times down at the warehouse. My daughter, you met her briefly. She's 5.5. She's down there carrying boxes. She'll bring me boxes. My wife's taping boxes. Like, listen, it's an all-in game. When things are going crazy, everybody's all in. It's a team. We believe in competition. We believe in fun. Fun is one of the biggest aspects of our company. We did a cookout in the parking lot the other day and brought out a pocket radar and had an exit velo competition in the parking lot with our whole staff.
Right.
So it's that kind of stuff, I think, is what we're about, man. And being passionate about customer service. I'm more of a business guy, right? So my background is business. This is actually my 7th venture. So I believe in data. I believe in communication. I believe in relationships. One of my biggest strengths is my network. So I believe in relationship building internally and externally. So there's a few of them.
Well, I think it's great. And I think, a lot of companies, you want to be really intentional on who you are. And if you have core beliefs, then you're going to have stories that back up those core beliefs. When you talk about driving a mug to someone and doing that, all right, you're living your core beliefs. People say integrity, discipline, trust. Really? Give me some examples. And I think that's what's really important for us. When we have our fans first beliefs and our fans first moments, we talk about them over and over and over again. When we talk about the 3 loves, love your customers more than you love your product. Love your team, your employees more than you love your customers. And then love yourself above all, because you can't love anyone else if you don't love yourself. We live that. If we don't do amazing things for our team members and our employees, if we don't do amazing things for our customers, we don't live any of that. And so I think you almost have to have accountability as an owner and founder and say, put your money where your mouth is, but put your stories where your beliefs are. Put your stories out there. And that's obviously what we hope to do on an annual basis.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys are doing a killer job of that, man. While I'm thinking about it, tell people a few places where they can find what platforms y'all are on, because I'd love for them to connect for multiple reasons, business, of course, but then also just the showmanship of baseball, because I think it's missing.
TikTok.
Share a couple of those.
TikTok.
Okay.
This is crazy, but like people said we were built for TikTok. And I don't know if you're on TikTok. I'm only on there to see what we're doing. But literally a couple months ago, we just started and we said, all right, let's share the dancing players, the Banana Nanas, the Mananas, the male cheerleading team. Let's share our players doing all the craziness, our breakdancing first base coach and trends and all that. And we went from 100 followers 2 months ago to 115,000 followers right now. And I was told by our team of two 18-year-olds who are running this that we have more followers than every major league team but 6 or 7. And so we were built for that. Now, obviously, Facebook's where we started, where we did our music videos and we do our parodies, like the Sandlot parody and some of these other major league parodies. But TikTok's been one that we're really having a lot of fun with right now.
Yeah, you guys certainly are built for TikTok because there's enough going on. There's content, right? It's visual, it's appealing, it's fun, it's funny.
Yeah. It's baseball players doing things that baseball players normally do. And again, that goes back into your brand. If you really want to be marketable, you need to be shareable, you need to be remarkable. And so what is it you're doing that remarkable? I mean, our players doing some of these dances that they're doing is crazy. We had our Richard Simmons lookalike come out yesterday. And it was, well, you'll see a video on TikTok soon, but literally it was, all right, fans, it's time for the second inning stretch. Let's get loose and limber. Get off your tushes. And everyone in the stadium gets up, and with two players with their shirts off, they start thrusting, like literally thrust, and the whole stadium is thrusting at the same point in the middle of the second inning of a baseball game. It was the weirdest, funniest thing I've seen. And I was like, you know what?
That's killer.
Baseball doesn't need to take himself too seriously. All right, baseball at its best, I love baseball at its best. But when it takes itself too serious, that's the problem. It needs to be fun. There was a commercial MLB put out 2 years ago. Let the kids play.
Let the kids play.
Yeah. They weren't living that. It was like the facade of let the kids play. But then if you let the kids play, you're going to get drilled in the head because of having too much fun, of the bat flip. There should be more bat flips, more celebration, more letting the kids play. And that's what will get more younger people involved. That's what we're trying to do, is make it fun here to attract baseball fans. I wish MLB would kind of listen to that and go further with it.
Yeah, there's always a lot of discussion out there about my partner Randall is always asked that question when we're on podcasts. Is do you like how traditional it is? And he's a traditionalist, right? Like he likes a traditional game. But a lot, I think it's disconnecting, right? I think it's disconnecting to the fans, like what you're talking about, man.
Well, who was the game meant for?
What's that?
Let's just go to the origin. The game was meant for kids. The game was meant for kids. Yep. However, when it became, and I'm not blaming MLB because it became $1 billion business and its revenues are growing astronomically, except for this year, it became a corporate business. You get more money from a big corporation buying the premium seats, buying the premium sponsorship. So I don't blame them. Who would they try to attract? Who would they try to tailor all of their marketing and their offerings to? Corporate. As opposed to the kid who comes out and gets Cracker Jacks, gets a mini bat, brings his glove, and sits out and watches his favorite player play. That's who we're going after, the kids, the fun, the people that want to have fun, that don't take themselves too serious, that'll wear a backwards cap, that doesn't have to dress up. You're coming from work in a suit. That's not who we are. So I think it's so important, Kris, to know not necessarily who you're for, but who you're not for. And I apologies to Randall, but we're not for the traditionalists. We're for the people that want to have fun and don't take them yes, there's a breakdancing coach dancing in the middle of the game while the game's being played. That traditionalists are like, what are you doing?
Dude, I encourage people to if you're even in Savannah or in the area, you've got to link up. I took my daughter. You were putting on a show, so I didn't bug you too much with all that, man. But I don't even know if you saw. We almost caught a foul ball. My daughter's doing like the YMCA.
Yes.
She's singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Two random fans just came and gave her a bag of chips because everybody's just like in this really cool state of mind, right? And talk about for the kids. I mean, my daughter, I have access to teams and nice places and things. She goes to Yankees games and Tigers games and stuff like that. Dude, she's like, "Hey, Daddy, when can we go back and see your friend in the yellow suit?" Is what she said. And it's like, man, that's, as a parent, I'd rather go have fun with my daughter, and right when we got out of the car too, there was a lot of ruckus going on in there, and she's running off. I'm like, you can't just run off, you're 5, but that's purpose. That's on purpose, right? They're just creating that energy right off the bat, and she's literally running away. I made her stop and take a picture with me before we went in.
Great to hear. That's great to hear.
It's certainly, certainly living that up. So find the Savannah Bananas on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You guys on Twitter?
Yeah, we're everywhere.
Well, and you're in Savannah Bananas, you're not going to get the wrong one. So last couple of questions, man. Tell me about, like I mentioned, I'm a businessman, right? That's how Randall and I partnered up with him. He came up with this tremendous idea, and I know how to scale businesses. Tell me about your podcast, Business Done Differently. What's that about? Any?
Sure.
Any
Everything we do is intentional. Just sometimes it's not as big as people make it out to be. So we treat everything as an experiment. I learned this from Henry Ford. Learning by doing. The more you do, the more you learn. And so, for instance, I realized a couple of years ago that I was surrounded by amazing young people on our team. Amazing young people. I mean, our president was 24 years old, Jared, when he started. 3 22-year-olds. I'm in my mid 30s, but I wanted to level up and learn from people outside the industry. So literally, I started my podcast a couple of years ago just to reach out to the biggest, people that inspired me, authors, speakers, entrepreneurs. And so I did it for myself. And it got quite a following. I was surprised because I was just asking questions. How do you stand out? How are you different? What can you do as a company to stand out? How can you have a better employee experience, better fan experience, customer experience? Just started asking questions. And if you want better answers in business and life, you got to ask better questions. And so I'm focused more on the questions that I'm asking and questioning everything, questioning the way baseball's been played, the way this industry's been, questioning everything. And I question the people that are 2-3 steps ahead of me. So that was big for me. And I do it. I record all fall and into the winter and spring and put out a season. And next season, I've got some guests that I'm even more fired up for. So it's just something that I did, just like writing a book. You want to share what you learn. I think every great leader needs to share more. I think when you share, you care. And it's not fair, the things that you learn, to keep to yourself. So I've been sharing everything every day on LinkedIn and hopefully inspiring a few people.
Yeah, I agree with. I agree with everything you just said, 100%. That's actually what drew me to connect with you originally, is because the way I've done business, it's been very different, right? And I've had a handful of successes along the way, and I was like, yeah, I like the way Gary V. There's a lot of guys that I know and I follow and that do things a little different, and you were definitely one of those. That's why I reached out. The last thing is your book. You have a book out there as well, Find Your Yellow Tux. It's probably very much in line with the same premise. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that was book number 1. I'm working on book number 2 now. But I wrote that 3 years ago. Again, after the things we learned, going from sleeping on an airbed and having to sell our house and empty out our savings account. And just 5 years ago, my wife and I, not sure how we were going to get through every day, to now selling out of a game and having built a brand that we are extremely proud of. I share the journey. I share what it takes to stand out and how everyone should look with that lens. And, I think it's really important. And I share the stories. And as much, I've said before, the stories are everything. What are the stories that you're sharing? And we teach our staff every day to capture fans' first stories, fans' first moments. That's what inspires people. That's what brings people in. And I'm always looking for them. And, just a few nights ago, it might have been the game you were here, a gentleman and his family came up running up to me. And, it's COVID time. So I got gloves on. I got my mask on. But he came up to me, and I never seen him before, met him, and he gave me a hug. And I was like thrown off. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was like, even for this time, I was like, okay. He's like, no, man. He goes, thank you. And I go, thanks, man. I appreciate it. He goes, thank you. And I'm like, what? He's like, me and my wife, we came to a game 2 years ago. We were on vacation here. We're from Utah. We were on vacation. We came to a game. We got tickets off the secondary market and found them and came out. And we had such an amazing time. And we've been talking about that. And when COVID happened in the pandemic, me and my wife and our 3 kids were just really down in the dumps. And we were trying to think of what we could do that could bring us joy. And we found out that you guys were having a season. And so we found tickets to tonight's game. We drove from Utah. We stayed overnight the night before. We came to the game. We stayed through the end. And now we're leaving tonight to go back to Utah. This was everything. You have no idea how much you brought our family together and brought this joy that we needed right now. This will be the best road trip back because we'll be talking about the memories from tonight. Yeah,
that's awesome, dude.
What else could matter more?
Nothing, man. Like, and I think that's what people lose track of is the stories, right? Experiential, right? So one of the things you asked, and so I have another company, my parent company, and I live experiential. Right. And in any deal I look at, I ask myself 3 questions. And I talk about this pretty regularly. Number 1, do I like the other person? Because on good days, you're great. On bad days, you're still fun because you like the other person.
Yeah.
Number 2, can I leverage my network? Because you always fun to play with your friends. Mm-hmm. And number 3, is it fun? Right. I'm so big on creating an experiential lifestyle. I had a life-threatening incident when my daughter was 6 months old, and it changed my lens on what I was willing and wanting to put my time, energy, and effort into.
Yes.
And living experiential because of those stories, man. Like I did a podcast with Raj Jana. Do you know Raj?
I know the name.
Stay Grounded is his podcast. It's incredible.
Okay.
And I told my story. I broke down and everything. I told my story when I almost died and everything. And a guy reached out to Rod next week and mentioned, like, hey, I remember that episode and it saved my life yesterday. It's like, when you start seeing that and hearing that, it emphasizes how important it is to be genuine. And I think that's what we got to do. Just keep being genuine. People like you or they don't. It doesn't matter, but just keep being you and keep doing business the way you want. And people will gravitate towards that, I think.
Yeah. And you share who you are. You share who you are. You be who you are. And that's what our team did. I mean, we went into each one of our homes during COVID and during the stay at home, and we did cooking with the Bananas. So everyone on our front office staff, we went into their house and they cooked. We got to know them. We got to know our announcer when he did Facebook Lives. And it's like, we want to know who we are. And it's okay. Don't be ashamed if you're a little different. I mean, I'm very weird. I'm in a yellow tuxedo on a regular day. There's got to be something wrong with my head. And the fact that my wife is still married to me, there's got to be something even more wrong with her.
And she's good with it.
At a whole nother level. But it's okay. It's okay. Amplify who you are and don't be afraid of it. And I had a lot of fun doing it.
What any big mistakes? Like, because I mean, listen, I'm a huge fan of always be testing. Fail fast, fall forward. Period.
Yeah.
What sticks out? Like that was such a.
I mean, the easiest one to go is the biggest mistake was when we tried to be like everyone else when we first came to Savannah. We were too scared. We actually didn't even say we were college summer baseball. We're like, oh, we're professional, independent baseball, and we tried to market like everyone else. That's when the aha moment's like, no, I own that we're college summer baseball, the lowest level of low, but we're selling out games and doing more. I own that, and I own this. I didn't wear the yellow tuxedo the first 4 months here. I was too scared of what people would think. So I think whenever you're too scared of what people think, or you're worrying about other things, I think Dabo Sweeney said it best. If you're so focused on worrying about something, then that ends up controlling you. Whatever you're worrying about, that controls you. So stop worrying about those kind of stuff. So for me, it's just always experiment, keep trying new things. Don't worry if it sucks in the beginning. As I tell our staff, we're going to get through the suck. We got to always get through the suck. People are too afraid to get through that. When we served all you can eat the first night, it was a disaster. 10,000 pieces of meat in an hour. We weren't even close to ready. People waited forever, but we got through it because we knew once it got there, like you came, pretty good experience. Your kids want soda, drink, water, whatever, food, they're good. You don't need to take money out of your pocket, but we had to get there. Be willing to have the courage and to deal with the adversity and get through it. And so those are some of the things I've learned from some challenges that we've had.
Nice. Well, in respect of everybody's time, do you have any final thoughts, anything like that? I mean, I can personally say we're glad to have you in the dugout. We appreciate your business. I appreciate even more what you guys are doing up there. And any way we can help, just let me know.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. Yeah. On the back, I'll share one thing. On the back of our Fans First playbook, we give out to our whole staff and our players and our interns, everyone. It's our playbook, who we are. It says, be patient in what you want for yourself, but be impatient in how much you give to others. And that has guided us in everything we do. That's Fans First through and through. It's why I've sent a thank you letter every single day now for 4 years, and why our staff sends them every day. Give more, and everything else takes care of itself.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Well, hey, follow the Bananas. Check out what Jesse's got going on in Savannah, and swing for the fences. Talk to you soon.
I love it. Appreciate you, man.
All right.